too old and dried out. I'm trying to load up one of the Beal, what do you call those things? Wheels, you know, the cotton cloth wheels thingies. And I'm not sure I'm getting any wax on there at all. It doesn't appear to be getting on my wood. Now this, I've got a bar of Canuba wax that's probably 8 years old.
Mine's older than that, and it seems to go on the wheel just fine. What speeds are you running the wheel at?
About 500.
Ooh.
I think you need to run it at 1700.
Really?
Yeah, mine runs.
Yeah.
Mine runs at 1850.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it runs faster. That's what I remember. Yeah, thanks, Eddie. You're probably more.
Yeah,
right
I
than
mean, mine's out of a ventilator, 3 horsepower, really horse. Out of
on Beal's site, they tell you what speeds they expect the wheels to run at, and I think it's.
Beal says they wanted a little.
Beal says don't exceed 1750.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Okay, thanks a bunch. Appreciate it.
It's hard. If you drop it, it'll break like glass.
Yeah.
That's why we can spread that information. We get a lot of novices like to have you know, see, we're all friendly. We don't keep any secrets. We also don't retain anything. None of the information about your address, your zip code, or Social Security number, none of that. If you want to share something, that's a different program. Yes, that's the one where you just go to.
Uh-oh.
Eddie,
Lost you.
yeah, that
He's no longer
Eddie,
sharing
that,
his audio with you.
Eddie,
not
you muted
sharing his
yourself.
I
the
didn't.
2706 number is mine, Ray Worthley. I'm on phone for audio and on the computer for video.
Okay.
So it's the 2706 number is mine.
And name again, sir?
Ray Worthley.
All right, Ray. We'll kind of try to keep that in mind, but I warn you ahead of time. I don't do names. I need it there. If I look to see who the co-hosts are that we assign, and we assign anybody co-host if they want to work with us and help us out. That's all it's about. It is all your card, your club, and we do have. I mean, just now I linked in Matt Harber. I got Billy Dillard, Ronnie Burnett, Ron Radliff, Doug Rowe, Dean Grimes. All these folks help us. They demonstrate for us. They help me. I mean, and when we get into the gallery later on, we need Dane to pop in gallery. And what he does is you text him and let him know what you. I am having a problem with spotlighting. Something is popping in and out on me. So I'm going to work on that and get it done. Hey, we got a great demonstration coming up tonight. I got to get over to my OBS screen and show you what this is, because we have Matt. Let me show you something. This is what we're going to get from Matt tonight. This is a little preview of one piece that he's going to show us. Little airbrushing tricks, and they're not really tricks. It's art. It's a really nice platter. This is the front and the back of it. This again, I can do these switches because of OBS. But that is some gorgeous work. He was at a.
This is partially.
See?
This piece is partially carved, Eddie. So all the white stuff is the paint carved away. So I might have the piece right here. So just so y'all can see it a little bit.
Right.
So it's not very big. because I wanted to see if the concept would work. And let me go over here and show you. But the bottom line is you put paint on the piece, and then you airbrush it, and then this is done with a thin parting tool. This is done with a thin parting tool, and then this is carved. So you carve away the paint. You put gesso on it. As a base, that's the black, and then you spray the airbrush stuff on it, whatever colors you want, and then you carve a design of your choosing on it. So I thought I'd try some different colors tonight just to see how that would work, and we'll see how that ends up.
All righty, we'll have that demonstration a bit later on this evening, and we get an input for our newsletter. Now I put the July newsletter up on the website already, or Dave, our alternate webmaster, is putting it up on the site, but it is on Facebook right now, and we get a lot of input to the newsletter. Today, I had one pop in. This came in from Carl Geary. Now, this is a piece that he's working on. You got to see this. This is a nice wig stand. Carl did us, and also 4 pens for Freedom Pen. Now, that is, he's a member and he's involved.
And a snowman.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see the snowman.
So yeah, that might not be a snowman. That could be Cade's little guy,
Yeah. Isn't that something? A what?
The skew man.
Skew man. Okay, we'll go along with that. But it's nice that everybody's playing in the garden right now. We're getting a lot of input, and I really like it. And if here's the deal: you got a photograph of what you turned, a photograph of whatever it is. Send it to us. We will use that photograph on air. We'll use that photograph on our website, and we'll use that photograph in our newsletter. Why? It's pretty easy. You do the best work out there, and we want to share it with other turners. You get an idea. You see, just now you saw that snowman, 4 pens, a wig stand. Carl's playing all the game. Carl's got his beat like a dog, boy. I tell you what, he is playing hard. So if you want to play in a same game, jump on board. It's just easy. Oh yeah.
Trifecta submission.
You trifecta submission. Okay, I can go along with that. Beautiful work, sir. Thank you. We also got some input from a couple other folks this week. Somebody got a new laser. Oh man, I don't do names. I gotta remember that. This is the laser that Johnny used, and I have an EJE laser. And he started playing around, and he did a couple of coins. Now, he birch one coin, and this one's worth more than its weight in gold or weight in wood, which is gold. But that's pretty nice. This came in from Rusty Gates. Isn't that nice? We get input of all kinds. And if you've got something, send it to us. It's brainstorms. All right, let's start the brains. It's 22 minutes after the hour. What else do we have to show tonight and share? Because we got a lot of time. Let's go.
I'll have to send you some pictures, Eddie, because I have a laser and I made a little sign for myself out of walnut and then lasered it and then filled the laser stuff with white liming wax. So it turned out pretty cool.
I was thinking about that the other day with that gold stuff that Cindy Drozer used to sell at SWAT, or does sell at SWAT.
You'd like the embellishing wax? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, he went away. You're muted again, Eddie.
It's a tube. It comes in a little tube about 3 to 4 inches long.
Yeah, I have also done some. My son had wanted to do some medallions, and I'll have to go dig those up there in a box upstairs. But I made some round medallions, lasered some designs in them, and then filled them with fine brass powder and super glued, finished them, and then sanded them flat, and they turned out just amazing. I got pictures somewhere.
Oh, they don't work. Yeah, I've used that. that
Thanks
goal
for
there.
the info on the Canuba wax. It made all the difference in the world.
Cool, cool.
You already worked on that?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm all right with that. We work in the shop. It's fine. I wish we'd get more. Hey, if you've got club members or wood turners in your area, guess what? They're invited. Guess again. It's free. Guess again. We want them there. Here, right here. So let your wood turning buddies know. I had a guy call the other day and asked me, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoever's getting in a car or truck, I need to get your audio off. Had a guy call me the other day, what would it cost to get all of his club members to participate? Nothing. It costs nothing. Nothing.
Depends on how much he has to pay them.
Pardon?
Depends on how much he has to pay them.
Not a good word turning thing.
How much he has
you
to
don't
pay
have
his members.
Yeah, but why would he want to pay it? It's a good wood turning membership. It's a good wood turning club, good wood turning information. All right, somebody forgot their audio's on. Okay, and I did say the word SWAT a little while ago, but first, Matt, you got those photographs?
No, I'm still looking. They're on Facebook
Okay, give me a
somewhere.
holler when you do.
I'll sing out when I find one of them.
Okay. I have to mention that SWAT is on. When I say SWAT is on, SWAT will happen. I think it's 2 months from today. Yeah, on the date. But it is in Waco, Texas. My opinion, my humble opinion, it is the funnest wood turning symposium in the entire world. All right, I went out on a limb with that one. But that's why I like to be out on that limb, because this place brings in international, national, regional, and local demonstrators all in one house. All in one house. And they share everything. There's no hierarchy. There's no, oh, you can't talk to him, he's demonstrating, or you can't talk to him, he's busy getting ready. No. If he's busy getting ready, he'll tell you, hold on a minute. But if he is willing to come there and share information, that's where you want to be. If you want more details, it's SWATturners.org. That's SWATturners.org. And you get all the details. You can sign up, get in, find where the hotels, everything else is right there in beautiful downtown Waco. And they bring in a little bit extra heat in August. So if you're a little chilly where you're at, you can warm up at Waco. But it's a completely air conditioned area. And I've talked to 7 retailers who will be at the show. And I know 5 of them are doing demonstrations in their booth. And if you got a question, like that miniature turner, what's his name? That little guy, Tim. Yeah, Tim Yoder, the miniature turner. He's going to be there. And if you got a question, you want to see somebody did on a demo, walk up to him, ask him to show you. There'll be Lyle Jameson's there. He's got the hollowing. He'll show you how to use it. Other manufacturers have sharpening rigs, turning rigs, shaping rigs, decorating rigs, products, all that stuff right there. Again, it's SWAT. Okay. Good evening, John Brown. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Did that work out for you, John, on that camera?
Yeah, I searched that out on the computer. I haven't got it ordered yet because I've been into so many other things here right at the present minute, but I'm going to maybe get an order put in for some of that stuff within the next day, maybe tomorrow.
John and I, speaking of, he emailed me the other day that he wanted the carrier to hold his cell phone. I think I have one on my desk here.
Well, it was that thing you said, really, that you talked about last week about switching cameras back and forth. And and you did send that plus some information on the stand, for the cell phone or iPad or whatever.
And it's not expensive. That's what shocked me when I found it.
Yeah.
I bought it was $20, and I said, "Oh, with that, I can mail it back." I bought another one. And they're both sitting out there with OBS cameras getting ready for the YouTube thing I'm going to do.
I got one with a magnet on it that can hold my phone.
Hey, that's nifty. Oh, I know that magnet.
Yeah.
But shut it. That is one, pardon me, hell of a magnet.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah, I see that. Where'd you get that?
I honestly don't remember. I'm pretty sure I ordered it on Amazon though. I'll go look if you write me on Facebook or somewhere. I'll go find the link for it and send it to you later.
The base, what he's got pivots.
Yeah,
all kinds of ways. Yes, that's
it does this, and it'll go back and forth, and this thing, this is on a ball, so it'll roll like that, and these may be two separate units because this unscrews from this, because this is designed to go. This has got one of those, it's designed to go on a tripod. Okay. So, and this is got one of these things here. So it's like a, what is it, quarter inch? Quarter by 20. Yep. So all of photography stuff is that way. Even some of the webcams have those capabilities. So
Matt, if folks want to look at it, I've got a handful of them, and I went looking for motorcycle mounts for iPhones, because that company makes a whole nest of things to put brackets and clips and all of that stuff. And if you had a motorcycle, you're probably going to see that, because if they have a bracket that'll put on a pipe or a bar and roll around, and they have little tripods, all kinds of stuff. It's a good idea.
Matt, that affair there you have holding your camera that looks like it's wood. You make
this?
Or
yes, I did. Yeah, I made this. I have made 3 of these articulating arms, and I found out how to do all this stuff on videos on YouTube. So I have no skills whatsoever. Well, I have some now, but it's
what
basically.
What do you look for when you?
Articulating arm.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. The knobs. The knobs were a different video. These little knobs here.
Yes. Yeah.
I love these, and I posted them. I thought to the Worldwide Woodturner site a while back, like last year sometime. But I'm pretty sure I've saved the videos for how I made these. So it's if you want them, I'm happy to. Yeah. This is great. I mean, I got one knob here, and I can extend this.
Yeah,
thing out.
Look at that. That's really neat. I like that.
Roll it up.
Matthias Waddell.
What's that?
Matthias Waddell is the one that has for the articulating arm.
Yeah, I think that the guy I first saw who did one of these was making one for a camera for his buddy who was going to be bedridden for a couple of weeks from surgery. So the first one I did for lighting, and it's against my wall back over here. And I don't know if I can show that. Let me see if I can aim this up and show that. Let me see here if I can get that right. That would be this one here. Cut. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, there it is right there. It's kind of squeak-jawed, but that's the first one I made, and it's got a light here that goes right into my tailstock, and it's on my wall, and it rolls back and forth. And this is a guy, he made this for a buddy of his who was going to be bedridden, and he made it to hold his iPhone so he could watch movies while he was in bed.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But, and then this one is a slightly modified. This one, I based this one off of the basic, those articulated lamps they have.
Yes.
So I just sort of, I looked at those and tried to reverse engineer them, and I tried a bunch of different things for this end. And in the end, I just made this little, it's just a simple platform.
Yes.
Okay. With some, so, and it's just a knob that tightens it down, and then this screws the camera in here.
Yeah.
So I did everything 1/4 inch by 20 threaded rod, and so if I needed to, it was all the same nuts and bolts and stuff.
Well, is that plywood that you made that out of?
Yeah, 1/2 inch ply.
Half. Okay.
Might even be 1/4 in some places. This is the arms are doubled up.
Oh, okay.
Man, that thing's worth a fortune now.
Yeah. I got leftovers, man.
Yeah, I didn't know you was rich, really.
I
No.
just left Fort Knox, called Home Depot.
Yeah, I bought some lumber there for making wig stands and nearly went broke.
Jason, did it pat you down when you were going out to see if he had sawdust or anything?
Right? I think we're up $13 for a 2x4. So
I didn't know trees got rare.
ouch. Oh, I know.
Believe it or not, in Oregon, you can pay $52 for a 2x4 that's 8 foot long. I just about went out of my mind.
That's
You're
insane.
kidding, aren't you?
I'm not telling anybody about my stash.
$10.
It's 8 1/4 for a 2x4 down here in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, I know a sheet of 7/16 OSB is $64 right now.
Golly.
I wanted to expand my shop this summer, but I can't afford it at that price.
Yeah.
I got 12 foot. I got 12 7-foot 2x4s sitting in my shop right now, unattended. I
And
make you
your
a good
address
price.
is?
I make you a good price.
To that shop.
I gotta find my mask.
Hey, Eddie. I found one of those pictures. If you guys want to see it.
Go ahead. Do I need to let you share it?
Yeah, let me try it here. I'm all right. So this, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Oh, I see his hair swing. Ah, look
Yeah,
at that.
there it is.
So this is about 3 inches in diameter, and I lasered the hole for it on the laser engraver. I turned the medallion itself out of cherry, then I lasered the hole for it, the cavity on the laser, and then I filled it with fine brass powder, and I used Starbond EM02, the super thin super glue, because it wicks into the powder and seals everything in. And then, I mean, it's basically a super glue finish, and then I just sanded it all flat. So, and I got a couple.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a lot better in person. So yeah, once they're buffed, they really look nice. But that's one of the things you can do with laser engravers.
You said the size, the width. What was it again?
What do you mean?
Oh, the diameter.
It's about 3.5 inches in diameter.
Okay. That is a beautiful piece, really is. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, my son my son and I helped him figure out how to make them, because he was selling like his gaming logos to his buddies at high school. This a couple of years ago. So he'd make these and sell them to his friends.
Gaming, you mean like thumb gaming, right? The gamers that do all this, not the gamers riding horses and stuff. Yeah. Oh, looks like we lost somebody. Okay. My co-hosts sometimes hit mute because of background sounds, and sometimes we don't catch it, but we will get back to it. I'm getting text I got one just now from Dave Kingsley, who would like to record the show. David, goes to our website, but I'll be glad to let you in there to record the show. Now, we're here to help our membership. So if you need to do that, it's fine. But we do ask that no commercial involvement goes with the program. That's just, we're not commercial. Anything in the world can be in there for the chat. Dane, I'm trying to find you to get you in there. Who else is working this week? Let's hear it from you.
I just got back from teaching all week at Ron Campbell's hands-on retreat, which was a lot of fun. People were talking about SWAT there too.
Oh yeah, if you turn us together, they will.
Yeah, Billy Dillard had some questions about some of the things I was making too, so I hope I answered them all, Billy.
Was Billy there at the work?
I wish I'd have been there.
No,
Man.
he was
there.
He was drooling is what he was doing.
Came in the door.
Yeah,
I'm going through withdrawals because I haven't been in the shop in almost 2 weeks.
I'll be out of my shop for a year, possibly.
Oh, geez.
So
Ooh,
I'm
ouch.
gonna spend a lot of time on YouTube watching y'all get my fix.
Works for me.
Phew.
Hey, Doug Rowe, you still with us? Doug Rowe wanted to hang in until you got here, Kim.
Oh, I'm here, and I heard her
He's
voice.
stirring the pot.
You didn't buy that bikini, and you're not gonna try it on for us, are you?
Yes, he is, and yes, he did.
No. Oh no.
We can't talk him out of it. Oh no, dude.
There's some Leonard Skinner for you because you can't go wrong with Leonard Skinner. Oh, I don't know if I'm up now. I'm seeing Matt, not me.
Oh, I'm looking at you.
We see you and Kim, Doug.
You see me and Kim?
Oh, he is wearing it. Oh my God.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Everybody, you're gonna have to poke out your mind's eye.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm sure there's a can of gasoline somewhere around here. I can just
Listen, I spent my hard-earned money at the thrift store on those today. That did cost me 59 cents.
nobody told you you had to do that. Nobody.
Now I want to know what I missed last week.
Oh well, it was in a comment thread. Someone had my brain's going fart because I've been doing too much.
It was me. I started.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Billy, there he is.
Yeah, Billy. Yes, Billy. He had suggested us all going on a cruise, and I said, "Well, I don't think any of us can survive seeing Doug Rowe in a bikini." So that's probably my fault. It's my fault. Y'all had to witness that. I encouraged it.
I was trying to get on last week, and then, I'm in Colorado, so mountain time. And then last week I was all the way out in Reno, Nevada. So when I got on, it was already over.
Yeah.
Not realizing the time.
It's just begun. It's never over.
I missed the last 2 weeks. I've just been too busy and haven't been able to get in. And like I said, we got company over today, so I'm not going to be able to stay on but about another 20 minutes or so.
You have those on with your company over.
It's just my
Well, of course, if anybody's coming over to your house, I assume they already know how crazy you are. So they're like, this is Doug just doing his normal thing. Go out and walk your dog or water your grass and then videotape that.
I think he said they were family.
Oh, well, then they absolutely know. They're probably very used to it.
They figured it out by now.
Yeah, kind of like my family. They're just like, oh, that's just Kim. My husband's like, she has no filter. I'm just going to warn you. So I get it. Pot kettle.
Yeah, we're gonna lose our family rating here, folks.
No.
All right. Remember, we're here for wood turning. If you like to chat, and
Or
we're
bikinis.
Or bikini.
Doug will provide the bikini entertainment.
We can make our own commercials.
What kind of commercials?
I'm just saying we can make our own commercials, a little fashion line. I'm going to call it Kim's Fashion Wear, and I'm the model.
No.
I guess we shouldn't ask what kind of finish she uses.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm going to have our new YouTube channel in.
Yeah, we're going to get in trouble. Remember, we got to keep it clean. This is scary. I mean, it was real scary is he put it on.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can have anything you want in this world, but all right. We got a lot of folks in the house tonight. It's only 43 minutes after the top of the hour. And I see Dane Chandler is in. Dane handles our gallery for us. If you got something you'd like to show in the gallery, all you have to do is put it in the chat and say, "Hey, Dane, I have a gallery item." And then he'll pop you up there. And when he introduces you,
be ready,
because it's coming and he's going to talk to you. But we have to find you. And right now, 77 photographs do not fit on one screen. So we have to flip pages. to find you. So we invite you to join in on this. And we're always looking to share something. I have somebody looking up that knuckle holder for you. It might come in tonight. But if you've got something to share that we talk about on the program, like Mr. John Miller asked about that fitting that Matt Harber had, we'll find that for you. We will get it in our chat, or we'll get it on our website, because we do have the world's greatest website master. Have you seen that website lately? Today I went looking for website addresses for our regular, everybody's a regular member. Well, we're looking for website addresses for a couple of particular members, because I was asked, can I refer this, can I refer this, can I refer that? I was totally shocked when I cruised through the website of all the information that Dave's got in there. If there's another one, if there's one out there that beats it, I hadn't found it. But thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. And remember, folks, he's paid well. Paid the same thing as everybody else. We're free. What's up for gallery or work tonight?
Yeah, before we do that, can I give a quick message?
Give him a message.
This is Dave. Yeah, I want to warn you, and the warning is we got about 385 hacks last month. I mean, not last month, last week. And I went a little crazy trying to block them all. If you get there and you happen to notice that you don't exist, it won't let you on, please send me an email and let me know that you've been accidentally blocked. If all I had to do is mistype one number and it would block somebody else's email, I mean the wrong address. And I know that I did that to Tom Clark. He let me know at the beginning of the meeting. I think I fixed that for you, Tom, so you can check it out. But again, I apologize if I block anybody. It isn't intentional. We just seem to have a whole lot of people from Russia, China, Italy, Brazil, and the United States. Oregon, as a matter of fact, shocked me, trying to get in and change things. So that's all I wanted to warn you. I'm not really blocking you. I'm just going wild trying to keep up with these interesting people that seem to think they want to play games on the website.
Yeah, most of my hack attempts come from Russia and Central Europe, Eastern and Central
Russia
Europe.
and China, and I get a lot from Italy, but for some reason we've been getting them from Oregon and got a couple from Virginia. I'm hoping it isn't somebody here that I blocked. So if you're in Virginia,
could be the CIA.
Where you might have been blocked.
Could be the CIA, Dave.
Automatically block people. I don't have to physically sit there and do it, but sometimes it catches the wrong person.
Could be the CIA from Virginia, Dave.
It could be.
Remember, the CIA only works internationally, so they're in Mexico doing it.
Yeah.
Hey,
you
Dave,
believe
if
that.
you need to, you can go back and just screenshot that video of me a few minutes ago and push that to the hackers and just tell them you don't want any of this.
I love it. I'm going to do it.
Maybe that's the anti-hacking software we need.
Works for me, man. Works for me.
Tell them mess around and find out.
I'm just checking to see if Kim's okay. She looked very emotional about seeing that thing. Emotional in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Eddie Papa Sillay is in the house.
I see that. Mr. Sillay's there. Or Mark Sillay. Today,
Hello?
Mark. Hey, Mark, I had a conversation this afternoon with, he's at Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He's a good friend of mine. But I don't do names. And he had his fingernail gouge out. And he was describing the grind and the cut and all on the fingernail gouge. And he said, is this thing any good? And I said, get to Mark's website. Get to Mark's website.
All right.
He can show you how to use it. Mark, will you there? Say a little something. Let's see if we can find you.
One of the things I noticed at Campbell's Hands-On Retreat last week, the first day we were there, we did a lot of beginner classes to warm folks up, and people came in with some pretty dangerous grinds on their bowl gouges. And I mean, I don't know, I mean, I can point them to people's sites, and we fixed a bunch of them, but it's there's got to be a better way to disseminate how to grind your gouge properly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they free-handed it, Matt?
Well, I mean, it looks like they were using the jigs, but you know, what you'd see, let me see if I can show this. What you'd see, I mean, what I've done with mine here, let me pull it this way. What I've done with mine here is the profile smooth, okay? And it's a little truncated from the camera angle or whatnot. Do it that way. I don't know. But at any rate, what I saw a lot of is I saw a sort of a rise just before the tip and then a dip into the tip. And what that means to me is that people are grinding the tip too much. And the way you're supposed to grind these, and I know a lot of us know this already, but the way you're supposed to grind these is you're supposed to grind the wings first till you get them to where you want them, and then make a couple of very light passes across the tip so things stay even. You're not supposed to grind the tip a lot. So that's what that says to me. And I don't know, and your mileage may vary. I mean, I defer to people who know more about this than I do, but
That's exactly what I do, Matt. I mean, I learned how much steel do you want to throw on a floor?
Right.
No, that's the deal.
I do a lot of honing, Eddie. I don't go to the grinder all the time. I do a lot of honing.
And I never freehand. If I go to the grinder, I do not freehand.
Right.
I can't freehand. I can't feel it good enough anymore. I always use the Wolverine jig.
Who's jumping in? I miss besides Mr. John.
I said I can't freehand either. My hands aren't, and my sight isn't good enough. I use a Wolverine jig, and I use that all the time. But it's like Matt says, you got to watch how much you grind on the tip of it, or you'll get that hollow part in there because it's the narrowest place around the profile of that gouge.
Can I say about the Wolverine jig? If you're doing a 40-40, you almost have to freehand, because I don't know that a jig can do a 40-40.
No.
I'm going to get Ron Brown in here. Don't say that. Ron Brown will come right after you.
I'm pretty sure I've got. I use the True Grind jig, and it's a lot like the Wolverine. And there's a specific video on there about how to do the 40-40 grind. So you can do it using the jigs. You just have to set things right and roll it correctly.
Yeah, I've got a jig from Ron Brown's Best, and it fits in I have my own jig, my own rig, and it fits in there, and that's how I gauge where the cutter's going to be and stuff. It's a great little project. We're not supposed to be commercial, but people say they don't make this. Not knocking you, but we did find it, and it does work pretty good. At 40-40 is a great grind, but what Matt had just now, that's almost a basic English grind, correct, Matt?
Yeah, I think they call it an Irish grind or an Ellsworth grind, and I've modified it like twice, so it's a little steeper. Let me get a close up on it to show you. I mean, I've been changing it around, depending on what I want to do, and let me give the overhead view so y'all can see it. So it's a little steeper than the standard Irish grind.
That looks good.
Yeah, it works fantastic. I love it, and this is absolutely my hands down my most favorite tool. So, and you got to. I mean, the way you shape this, if you're starting off, is you shape this profile first, and then you can see where you got to remove the metal by where things are thicker. And you grind the wings to where you want them first, and then you just roll across the front. You roll it across the front. And I don't know, I'm not doing a very good job of describing that, but maybe somebody else can.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Can I, Matt?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The Very Grind jig on the Wolverine system, only thing that it does is make a parabolic curve. It has nothing to do with the profile. So people make the mistake, the way they get those two wings up on the side and the hollow part down by the point is they flop the jig back and forth. So the jig will make a parabolic curve, but you must draw personally the profile of the wing. So you take off high, right? And don't keep flopping it into the low. And you build it straight down to the inside bottom of the flute, right? I'll tell you what, let me go out to the shop, right? And I'll set up a little thing and I can demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. And this will keep people with the proper profile on a bowl gouge. The inside bottom of the flute does not touch the wood first. It's always catchable. It's the same thing on a spindle gouge. If the inside bottom of the flute does not touch the wood first, it's catchable.
Yep.
I'm going to go out to my shop. You guys do something. I'm going to go out to my shop. I'll demonstrate. You'll be able to exactly see what I'm talking about.
It'll be great to see, Mark. I look forward to it.
Oh, yeah. This is all about. Oh, yeah. Here you go.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Here you go. We had a professional turner, awesome teacher. Just give us a tip, and he's got more coming. It's 5 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm looking at the chat here, and a lot of folks have chimed in and says, I only use the diamond stone to touch up. I use a little, in the chat, I use a little inside flute gouge to touch up. I home between grinds. The Irish grinds are 55-degree bevel swept back to 120 degrees. Yeah, my opinion about this. Numbers are just numbers, really. If you get close and it works for you, don't mess with it. If it cuts well and you like it, sharpen it. But don't go willy-nilly and say, I'd like to have a 58.5-degree profile on it because that's what I read someplace. Did they know what they were talking about? Did it work? And how did they measure it?
And one of the things that I do, Eddie, is as soon as I find if I hit the grind right and I like it, I take a Sharpie and I write the settings on the tool handle so that I can go back and recreate that grind and the angles and stuff exactly how I had it quickly.
Yeah, I laser engrave mine on my handle. It works
Yeah,
really
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Who said that? Billy?
That's me. That's what I did. I used a little Wolverine, and I got the little. I forgot who makes the little deal that you set your angle with for each one, and you come up with a number. Like you said, it doesn't matter what the number is; it's repeatability. Yep. I set that in my Wolverine, and I go back to that number and zero it up, and the number is engraved on my wooden handle. The number of the setting of the Wolverine and the number of the cut, the angle itself.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
I write it on the tools there.
And like I said, if you like the way a tool cuts, don't change it. Don't say, well, mine's supposed to be between 55 and 60. You got 5.
We lost you, Eddie.
From David Peter's tool that Irish grind is so popular in the United States. He makes he has a sheet, and I got the permission from David to post it on my website because I kept getting guys saying, well, this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and they got to rework it all. Get close. If it works, you're there. All right, in a few minutes, we're going to join Matt. He's going to do a little thing on airbrushing for us. But first, we got Mark. Mark, head to the shop. Hey, Mark.
I'm out in the shop now. Let me flip the phone around here. And okay, there we see it now. Okay, dokie. Can you see me now? Okay.
I got you. I got it now, bud.
Okay. My lovely wife, Barbara, is going to be the camera lady here.
Hey, Barbara, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Okay, just focus on my tool.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing I do, I have the Wolverine system with the Very Grind. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is put my Very Grind to 1 3/4 inches. Some people use this as a 2-inch thing, but I've got mine set up for 1 3/4. The next thing I do is I have my Very Grind set on notch number 3. So that the bolt, this bolt, and notch number 3 are in line. I don't change that. Hasn't been changed in 13 years. All right. The angle that I like, this sets the angle in and out. That's the angle that you like. I have a mark on here that I set it so that it's exactly the same at all times. The mistake that people make, right, that I see all the time is they do this. They go back and forth, just back and forth, back and forth. When I'm going to turn the grinder on. When I go back and forth, I'm going to destroy this just to show you. So what I've done by going back and forth, I have taken the flute, the point of the flute out, and I have a high wing over on this side. If I'm going in the bowl, then the wing hits the wood before the inside bottom of the flute, and it wants to twist the bowl gouge. So what Matt was saying, right, is you draw, I draw this side. You can have it straight down or just a slight curve.
Never depressed.
I'm going to draw this profile. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to match it. Taking the high side off.
Yep, that's exactly how I do it too.
Yep.
Yeah. And please note that he Mark
The
using
bottom right there. Touch it first. So I got to take that back down just a little bit more.
Is that a CBN, guys?
So what I have is
yes.
very slight curve to get those plugs little starts off. I have a slight curve coming down to the point.
Did you just wipe that on your shirt with your wife present? Your wife present?
It's a turning shirt, Eddie. It's a turning shirt.
That's a brave man.
It's a turning shirt. It stays in the shop.
You know, I never noticed that. My center is offline.
Oh, they got to be online.
Okay, so if you look at that, I got to turn this thing up. It's too noisy. So if you look at that, it's a slight curve down to the point. This point must, it's not really a point, it's a curve, but the inside bottom must touch the wood first. Then the other thing I do, right, if you can either use the other wheel or you can just push this Very Grind in. See where I've pushed it in? If I push it in and turn it on.
What row? Y'all got to pick.
And he's taking the bottom bevel off, I believe.
Yep, he sure is. That's an Ellie Eversera move.
Yep.
You talk about turn a corner, folks. That'll turn a corner.
Yep. It does reduce the amount of bevel on the main bevel that you have riding on the wood, but it makes it real easy to get around corners.
Secondary bevel, that takes the heel away.
Yep.
And you never ever cut with a heel, so you're not missing anything when you grind it away.
Okay, now let me just take this one step further. This is my regular bowl gouge. Now my bottom feeder, all I do is I never change this setting. It's always on notch 3. I take my bottom feeder and I put it in at 1 3/4. It's still on notch number 3. The only thing I'm going to do to make the angle steeper is move it out. So I have another notch right here, my bottom feeder. I turn it on and do the same thing.
Yep.
Now that's a round, bottom feeder is round. It's not elliptical.
I gotta let this thing, I know it. Let me just let the grinder settle down here and then I can hear you guys talk. Okay, so now the angle on my bottom feeder is about 80 degrees. I still have a straight profile coming down so that the inside bottom of the flute touches first. And it's that simple for bowl gouges. All you need is 2 notches and you keep it exactly the same on this notch number 3, right? And that will give you the most fantastic cut that you will ever have on your bowl gouges.
It will. And it's simple. You do not have to keep doing all that math and changing and jigs and all that. Once you have it got one, it works. Stay there. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that was real good.
Okay, and if anybody has any questions, here, let me turn this around here this thing.
And thank your wife for us.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to call me and we can set up a FaceTime and I can help them understand that. But the inside bottom of the flute must touch first. Remember when we were doing our 2x4s on the spindle gouge, the first thing that you do is you push the point, following the east-west rule, you stick the point of the gouge into the wood. Then you have bevel contact and you can virtually go inside, out, back, left, right. Doesn't make any difference once you have bevel contact. The exact thing happens with the bowl gouge. You must have that. You must stick the point of that bowl gouge first, entry. Then you can go anywhere you. And when you're pushing the cut line with that, with a little point on that bowl gouge or the inside bottom of the flute, it is almost impossible to get a catch. You just must remember that if you're right-handed, your left hand has nothing to do with wood turning. And if you're left-handed, your right hand has nothing to do with wood turning. You never put any pressure from your whole, my right hand. I never put any pressure with my left hand except down on the tool rest. The tool must be pushed from the back of the handle to the point, and you ricochet off the bevel and you drive that cut line all the way to its final destination.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. If you think about it, who drives the bus? Not the guy in the back seat, driver, right up front. All righty, we had a pretty good one there. And we're wood turning, and it's all about wood turning. So if you'd like to join us, you can. But I have to take a little moment here and explain something to you. this is your wood turning club. And if you're a member of your wood turning club, just like this guy, Dane Chandler, then you note things that happen and don't happen. Dane came up with the idea last week that maybe we need to, not maybe, we need to have a meeting to discuss demonstrators, what's available, who's available, and what we can get lined up. Right, Dane?
That's correct.
Right. I really think we need to do that. Why don't we peg 1 hour next Wednesday evening, give fair notice on it, peg an hour next Wednesday evening, we will start exactly at 7 o'clock, and we want every single member in the box to give us input on demonstrators.
Be a good idea.
And remember, we don't pay for this. It's free. Money destroys all. So this is free. And we're looking for demonstrators just like you, the guys that can do this. You've seen the work we've seen tonight. You've seen the tips and hints we've seen tonight. You've seen all that, and wait till you see what's coming up. So next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. I say night because of Doug Rowe. But 7 o'clock, we're going to talk about meetings. And oh, Kim, are you still with us? I'm going to pop this out here and see. If Kim's still with us, it's safe. Kim, he signed off.
No, I'm here.
No, he signed off.
Oh, Dane did. Or Doug.
No, Doug signed off, so it's safe. You can open your eyes again.
Okay, yeah, I get you now. Sorry.
I thought she had a sunburn. It was just Doug.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
For those that missed it, and it's going to be on our video on our YouTube channel, on our website, because David does that for us. We will have this excerpt of Doug Rowe, First Sergeant Doug Rowe, and his bikini. If you can handle it, tune in. All right. If you can't handle it,
we should all wear sunglasses for that.
Oh, I got those blockout things from when I had the eye surgery done. I can't see a thing. Yeah. So, all right, we're going to do a little something in a minute or so, and we've got one of our members lined up to do a demonstration for us. And this is a sample of some of the work he has done. He will show you this, and this is some really great work. I mean, take a look at the quality of this stuff. This is what you came here for, to learn how to do it. Simply, he's going to show you, and it's not an expensive CNC machine that did that. It is an expensive wood turner called Matt Harber, and he did it for us. He's going to show you how to do it too. Matt, are you ready, sir?
I am.
All right, let's rock and roll, buddy.
All righty then. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Harber. I'm not there yet. Should I highlight myself?
I got you now.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. The piece that I did is only about 8 inches in diameter that y'all were seeing. I use the background on it is a paint product called gesso. Okay, Gesso. What it is a thick acrylic paint, and it's used sort of like a base. All right, and I put it on with the standard, little Harbor Freight foam brush. So the first, let me switch over to this other camera here. The first thing I did these this afternoon. I did a couple of these this afternoon. All right. Let's look at this one here. So this is the piece here I have on the lathe. It's walnut, and what it is let me see here if this works. There we go. So I basically flattened this side of it and shaped the back, and I have painted it with gesso. And gesso goes on pretty thick. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to sand it, because it's still, and I'm going to sand it lightly, and I'm going to sand it with 220 grit, 220. The reason why I'm doing that is I can still see the brush strokes on here. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to sand this lightly. Just very, very lightly. Does that to your sandpaper, just so you know. So I've taken some of the paint off. So sometimes I might have to go back and repaint it, but I'm not going to do that tonight for the demo. Okay, now I'm going to where'd my piece go? There it is. So at some point, what I'm going to do with this piece is I am going to, after I've done the airbrushing, I am going to use a thin parting tool to cut this groove and this groove. And I am going, after I've done the painting, I am also going to hollow this part here. This is a little deeper. This piece here is a little deeper than this little plate I made. So I can go a little deeper. But I'll show what that looks like also. So I wanted to try some different colors tonight. So when you spray in, all right, let me do some tips and tricks first. And I'll show this in the.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Several people are saying they can't hear you. Your volume's too low.
I may have to change my batteries. Is this any better?
Yes.
Okay, I just moved the mic over a little closer. If it starts getting low, please ask. I'll go change batteries. Okay, I'm going to try a couple different paints here tonight. I don't think I'm going to use the blue. What I'm going to try is I'm going to use a white opaque. This is Createx airbrush colors, and that is I'm going to cut here and go here and say this is my list here is I've got an airbrush kit list on here. I'm using the airbrush I'm using on here, and the bottom point is I'm using Createx transparent and opaque airbrush paints and chestnut spirit stain. So I'm just going to use two colors tonight to show this, and I'll come back to this list later. Okay, I'm going to use two different kinds. I'm going to use this white. It's an opaque airbrush paint. Usually I use transparent, but I'm going to use this opaque a little bit because I want white and then I want to spray blue on it. So the Createx in most airbrush paints are acrylic based. So they're acrylic. So they're water based. So their cleanup is water. And I'm also going to spray this light blue chestnut spirit stain. This is an alcohol based stain. And it is because it's alcohol based, your cleanup on this is denatured alcohol. So we'll see how it all comes out because I haven't done this with these colors before, and we'll see how it works. So trick number one, I have the airbrush kit I got comes with this little holder. All right. On the bottom of it, I put magnetic strips. It sticks to my lathe. Okay. I do a lot of spraying on the lathe. It's great to have the magnetic strips on the bottom. Your airbrush sits in the little holder like that. Okay. The kit that I've listed on my little list here, and I'll go back to it later, is a little bit less, around $100, and it includes an airbrush, the hose, and the little compressor for it. So pretty much everything you need to get started. Trick number two is, where did I put that? Oh, it's over here. You need something to spray paints into. If you're cleaning out your airbrush a lot, and you should, you need something to spray the airbrush into. So I took a gallon milk jug and I cut a hole out of it. This is what I spray everything into. This is what I throw any pieces of paper towel into. It ends up looking like this, but at the end, you could, when you're done and you've cleaned your airbrush out, you can just throw empty this out into the trash. Okay. Any questions so far? No. Okay.
Not with me. I think we're okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my tool rest around here, because what I want to do is I want to mark out where my bowl's going to be so that I have a general idea of where I'm going to be spraying. So I'm going to probably put one of those rims, one of those rim lines here and one of those rim lines here. So my bowl probably going to be right here. Now what I'm using to do this with is a watercolor pencil, okay? And a watercolor pencil wipes right off with, so I'll put my bowl in right there. Okay, so what that tells me is where I can spray to. Now where I'm going to spray is I'm going to spray in this direction, and I'm going to get my tool rest out of the way and cover my lathe bed before I do that, so I don't paint my lathe bed, because that's bad. So let me move some things.
Matt, a little while ago, you showed us that camera mount. Well, I put the details for it. RAM mount, R-A-M-M-O-U-N-T, makes the bracket. There's probably 40 different versions, magnetic, suction base, handlebar base, and all that. The information is in our chat.
Sounds great. Thank you. So I buy these rolls. What it is a roll of white paper, and you buy them at any hobby store or any place that sells art supplies. And they're not very expensive, and you can do things like use that brown paper that the painters use to cover things up with too. I use it for everything. If y'all were paying attention to Campbell's Hands-On Retreat, I covered the tables with it for my airbrush class there. All right. So when you're spraying an airbrush, there's a lot to learn about airbrushing, and I'm by no means an expert at this, but I've learned some things that I can do. And one of those things is that if I spray straight on, if I'm going straight on, I'm spraying a cone of paint. So if I'm close, it's almost a dot. If I'm far away, it's a much wider circle, but it's fainter, okay? So let me shake my stuff up here. Put a couple of drops in here. So this airbrush is a two-step airbrush, and I don't remember if that's exactly the right term for it, but one step is I push down and I get air coming out. Then I push back on the little lever and paint comes out. The further back I pull back, the more paint comes out. So if I spray like that, I get a dot. If I angle it, I get a cone. And the stuff out here is lighter than the stuff closer to the airbrush. So what I want to do with this is I want to get this that are going outward from my line that I drew, and I'm going to paint blue over top of that. So I'm going to start spraying, and I'm going to start turning this piece while I'm spraying it. I may have to put more paint in, but I want it pretty white near my little circle there where my bowl is going to be cut in, but I want it to fade out as I got to the edge. So that's why I'm spraying at this angle like this. Ooh, what was that? The white doesn't behave as well as I would like. The other paints work a lot better. So I hope you guys can hear me over the compressor. It doesn't make a lot of noise. It's pretty quiet.
We got you.
All righty.
Now you can do this with one of those small Harbor Freight compressors, because what are you looking for, 25, 30 pounds most?
Yeah, it's 25 PSI at most. You can, if you have a regulator, you can do it with your shop air compressor, but that's a lot of overkill. And frankly, I can take this little compressor anywhere. And those Harbor Freight airbrushes, they work pretty good.
Now I got to mention, if you use your shop system, watch for water. A little bit of water right now screw this whole thing up.
Yep. All right. So that's where I'm at with this right now. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, because I know how this white is a little heavier, I'm going to clean it. So I'm going to dump my paint. I'm going to grab some water wherever that is, because this is the acrylic, and I'm going to get this cleaned out. So, and this is what I use my little milk jug here for, is I pour a little water in there, dump it out, spray it through. And this is an important thing to do, is to learn how to clean your airbrush and to clean your airbrush, because I had a little incident here. As many of you know, I was at Campbell's Hands-On Retreat, and one of the classes I taught was an airbrush class. Well, I didn't clean my airbrush as thoroughly as I should have. So when I was getting set up to do the class earlier today, I went to make sure that the water, I just used water to see if it would spray through, and it didn't spray through very well. So that was a problem. I had to more thoroughly clean my airbrush. So this opaque white is thicker than the normal transparent stuff and the stains, so it's harder to get clean. So this may take a bit. You know what? While I'm doing this, let me switch over to.
And we have to mention that if they get dirty, they are a pain to break down and clean up.
Yeah. So this is my my little note section here. I've got a link for an inexpensive kit on TCP Global if you're interested. There's what I said before about cleaning your airbrush earlier is right here. Those Harbor Freight airbrushes, they work pretty darn good. So I do have a set of those, and I have used them. There are other kinds. This is a gravity feed airbrush, which means that the paint sits in the cup and falls down via gravity into the airstream. There are what they call, I think they call siphon feed, that have little cups and spigots and so on. And one of the benefits of those is the little cups are detachable. I think the Harbor Freight ones are that way. And what you can do with that is you can then put a cap on them and travel with them. So if you're doing a lot of demos and you're doing a lot of airbrushing and stop, like if you're doing it a bunch of times during the day and then you want to stop and pick up in a day or two, being able to put a cap on your paints and stuff is a really useful thing. So let's see what else I have on here.
We've got a lot of folks posting notes on our chat about places that you can get airbrushes and airbrush kits and keep the cost down. Do not get scared when you go into a paint shop and ask to see an airbrush and they throw a $300 or $400 item in front of you. Do not get scared.
Yeah, there's like the kit that I have has been working for me for years, like decades, or almost not really a decade, but at least 8 years. And I paid like $95 for it from TCP Global. So it's, the kit they have there is a little different now, but let's see here. All right, so this is where I am now, and I'm done with the white. And I'm going to now spray some blue. Now the blue I have is spirit stained. So while the other stuff was airbrush colors and alcohol based, this is chestnut spirit stain. I'm sorry, the other stuff I was using was water based. This is alcohol based. This is chestnut spirit stain. It's alcohol based. So I'm not going to clean this up with water. I'm going to clean it up with denatured alcohol when I get there. And I've got to make sure that this spray's clean before I start spraying on my piece here. So I'll put a little bit in here.
And because our safety director is not with us tonight, folks, some breathing protection is necessary. Matt is doing that for tonight. You can't talk with a mask on, which you shouldn't be doing if you're painting, but please take care of your lungs.
Right. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try.
Oh, we lost your audio again, sir.
You know what? Hang on. I'm going to switch batteries on this. Can you hear me, Eddie?
We got you, Dane. Matt. I don't do names.
I'm gonna go away for a second while I switch batteries.
Okay, folks, you're tuned in to Worldwide Wood Turners. This is your wood turning club. We're watching Matt Harber give us a demonstration right now, a little airbrushing on a platter. We'll have photographs of this and clips of this video on our website, worldwidewoodturners.org. And remember, this is your wood turning club. Okay, we don't pay Matt. Matt is here as a volunteer to help teach wood turning and share his ideas. Now we're better, Matt.
All right. So I only put a few drops in here, so I'm gonna put some more because I'm running out of juice. Any questions I can answer for anybody while I'm doing this?
Are you restricted on the type of material you can spray?
I do not. I mean, you don't want to spray like straight up acrylic paints because the pigments are too thick to do it well. You'll clog up your airbrush. Okay. So I have experimented with making my own paints and pigments from those, but I got to dilute them and it's still problematic because the pigments are just not fine enough on like I don't know, Michael's stencil paints, you know what I'm saying? Or basic Walmart acrylic paints are just not suited for airbrush spraying. But I comfortably spray these airbrush paints from Createx. I understand that Golden makes some nice ones. Whoops. And I understand that and these chestnut spirit stains spray really well right out of the bottle also.
Matt, this is Sue in Florida.
Yeah.
Do you always use black gesso, or do
Nope,
you?
I've got white gesso also.
Okay.
So I mean, it all depends on how you want to do it, and I've done things like I've used that Zinserbin stuff, which is a primer. Basically, it's white. I've done airbrush work on that. I've done airbrush work straight on the wood after I've sealed it with chestnut spirit stain and so on. So there's a lot of things you can do, a lot of things that you can use as a background. You don't have to use a background. There's a lot of choices, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, what I've sprayed here, I've actively worked to make to do this as a very light coats. So this is all dry now, okay? And I have never sprayed the alcohol-based stuff on top of acrylic paint before, so I'm delighted that it looks like it's worked fine. So thank you for serving as my guinea pigs. And I need this, and because I did alcohol-based, I'm going to use denatured alcohol to clean this out now. Okay, now I'm effectively, because I've created a little pattern here, and I have not really shown a whole lot with airbrushing here. I've just shown an easy way to add some color.
Hey, Matt, while you're talking about color, that little gal from Florida chipped in just now. She says you can buy cheap ink pens from the dollar store, mix the ink with denatured alcohol, and use that in the airbrush, and you get a ton of color variations.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. There are some. I've seen some interesting, and I don't know what they're called, but there is some sort of thing that sort of comes like a pen. Somebody will know what that is, and you can actually use it. You add an alcohol ink to it, and you can spray that. As it comes with a little sort of airbrush thing. It starts off as a pen and becomes an airbrush. I don't even know what that's called, but I've seen it. So there's a lot of different ways you can do things.
Get creative. That's all we're asking, folks. Get creative.
Yep. Now I mean, if you look on my Facebook page, I do a lot of different things with airbrushing. I have had a class with Nick Agar, who I strongly recommend taking a class from if you get a chance. He's one of the guys who I consider a mentor and a teacher, and he has greatly inspired me on my airbrush work. I use stencils. I make leaf plates, if y'all have seen those. Those are done with stencils and airbrushing. People will say that stencils are cheating. I say, so what?
Yeah, who thinks there's rules there?
That's right. That's right. You're only limited by your own imagination. So, and I'm not using gloves here tonight, but I strongly recommend y'all use gloves because I'm getting this stuff all over me.
There's a painter that paints strictly just with her fingers,
Yep.
oil paints, and it's amazing. So I think as long as you're willing to just try it and experiment, obviously being safe because, your skin is the largest organ on your body and you don't want to put too much toxic on it all the time, but just experiment, try it out. The worst thing that happens is you find out what not to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and don't do it on a beautiful turning piece. Do it on an experimental piece.
Do
This is
it
what
on
I,
a piece of paper. Do it on a,
yeah, this is our goal for tonight, right here, or similar. This is what Matt turned for a project last week, and it is gorgeous. And we're explaining more of how to do this type of work. And we got plenty of time to get it done, and we got plenty of time for you to be involved in your wood turning club. Somebody told me the other day we use that phrase too often. Not really.
All right.
So
You ready for the next step, Eddie?
I'm ready.
All right. This is a very thin curve parting tool. I think I got this at Rockler years ago. You can get them in a bunch of different places. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn away some of this stuff. All right, and I now want to take a bowl gouge and turn away this stuff in the middle.
This is an Irish crown bowl gouge.
Yes, it is. It's a small one, though.
My favorite's 3/8. And don't ask me where to measure them from and if you should measure them. Find a size you're happy with. And that's the beauty of the SWAT. You can play with them and find out the one you want. Why just pass?
Anyway, I'm not gonna turn the whole bowl. Oh, one thing I should have said is that before you start turning, hit this with lacquer. Hit this with a couple coats of lacquer to protect the paint. The paint can get abraded by the chips you're making.
So that means the base is complete if you spray with lacquer.
Yeah, but you can still carve it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The coloring of the base is complete.
Yep, and you can cut back lacquer. Let's say you're spraying satin lacquer or whatever. You can come back and add more color on top of that. So, and there are some people who do that. It really adds a lot of depth to their turnings when they do that. Don Derry comes to mind. Some other people, and then what you do then, and let me see if I'm a little less prepared for this than the rest of the stuff, but what you can then do, and
Matt was a little busy last week. He was at the symposium up in Michigan and teaching, and we got him to commit to this, and we're looking at you to commit too if you'd like to do a demo for us. This is it. And you can shoot your own demo on an iPhone. We have some details on how to get that rigged up and what you can do with it in this month's newsletter.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a diamond bit to carve this with, okay? And I'm going to use, I've got this set that I bought probably from Amazon or maybe from Harbor Freight, I'm not sure. And I'm going to use a little sphere bit. I don't know if y'all can see that. And usually I would lay out a design and I would trace it with the watercolor pencil, but I'm just going to show you how that works here. I'm going to freehand it, okay? So you can start carving designs, and let me see if you can't really see that very well, can you? Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Let's see, that's this one here. Nope, that's not that one. It's this one. So all I'm doing is carving the paint away. Okay, and that's literally how I did this other piece. Is I carved the paint away. Okay, the only difference was I was using red and yellow here, and here I use blue and white. I was using a light color wood. Here I'm using walnut. That's the only difference. And that's how you create all those designs. And you know, it looks cooler if you're more consistent and you lay it out. I made a little paper template. I made a little paper template for this one using a French curve. And I just basically laid it out one after the other around the rim. And then I carved it out exactly the same way I did this.
I'm going to tell you how to cheat on that. If you have a laser printer at home for your computer, you can probably find those designs like I did, Celtic knot designs, et cetera, on Google. Put in Google sketches and know what you're looking for. And then you print that just by itself to the size you want, which is available on your printer. And there you go. You can take a pen. I say pen. I take a prickly pen and just go through it. Not deep, just enough to give me an idea to go back with my pencil and color it in. I have to have a bold line. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so I have to have a bold line to follow this thing. But that's another way to cheat. I want to steal your fire, bub, but
Hey, cheat all you can. You know, the better, you know, the easier you make it for yourself, the more consistent you make it for yourself, the happier you'll be. So, and the better your result will be. So, I hope that answers questions. If y'all have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
You went down to just the black paint that you'd put down first. You didn't cut through that into the wood.
I did cut through that into the wood.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what you're seeing. Let me switch back over there. What you're seeing here in